Hey everyone, this is Aaron and Juwan, and you're listening to Wellness for Real People. This show is for people who are on the go, busy, and looking for ways to live their best lives. We focus on wellness topics in mindfulness, exercise, diet, and sleep, and share quick, actionable tactics to improve your health and wellness. We're not perfect, but we're trying to get a little better each day. Let's grow on this journey together.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron and Juwan. We're here with another episode of Wellness for Real People. And today we're talking about snacking. And we have an exciting article for you guys today from Harvard Health, and it's called Low Carb Snacks, Easy and Healthy Options for Any Time of the Day. This one's by Jenette Restivo, health writer over at Harvard Health Publishing. And we're going to dive into some of the topics and questions he has around low carb snacks and snacking in general. And so, it's something I run into a lot because like I have those days where I don't eat breakfast or I miss a meal or whatever. And you might be hungry, you might be tired, but it's not quite meal time. And the biggest challenge is it's so tempting to reach for like a sweet treat or a sugary drink or something just to give you that quick boost and fulfill that gap. But a snack that's high in added sugar can lead to a blood sugar spike, and that can follow with an energy crash, and it'll leave you feeling even more tired and hungry again. So, this article and what we're talking about today is just options for healthy, low carb snacks that can give you an energy level boost while also helping your body get those important nutrients throughout the day to prevent you from overeating and crashing and get you in shape for your next one. So, lots of stuff to talk about here. This is all in the realm of things that we talk about on our show around mindfulness, exercise, diet, and sleep. And so this one's specifically around diet. What do you look for in low carb snacks? And so, what the article suggests is experts kind of define a low carb snack as one with 5 grams of carbohydrates or less per serving, and something that's packed with nutrients like protein and fiber that can help you feel full longer and focus on minimally processed foods. So, one of the biggest things the article says to avoid, which is very hard to do, Joanna, I know we'll dive into it, but trying to choose low carb snacks means steering clear of highly processed and sugary options. And those are things like chips, which I love, and chips in all forms and formats, regardless of what they look like, cookies, and granola bars. And one of those ones is kind of surprising. You would think granola bars tend to be kind of like the healthier option, but a lot of times they're loaded with sugar and refined carbohydrates and packaged in a way to make you think that they're healthy, but also hiding a lot of these carbs in plain sights and things like that. On top of that, they talked about high calorie sports drinks, which, like I love Gatorade, and not all Gatorades are the same. Some of them are just packed with sugar and juice and things to avoid. And so, again, these are the things that you should avoid. Trying to choose something that's healthy and typically just pairing that with a glass of water. So, just as a high level to kind of kick it off, what are your thoughts so far on that, Juwan?
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point around just like sometimes the things that are most accessible are most detrimental, right? There's an interesting correlation there, and that's not to say that that's always the case, but a lot of the snacks that that I tend to reach for, like you said, if you turn around, you turn that label around and actually look at the nutritional facts, maybe it's not all it's chalked up to be, and so just trying to be much more mindful of those simple whole foods, right? We talk about this over and over again, and I think that it's really, really important that we live in this kind of instant, kind of microwave, simple, kind of prepackaged society, and the upside of that is the convenience, right? It's quick, it's grab and go, but the downside to that is, like you said, it's often very processed, stripped of all the nutrients, right? Packed with added things that are not good for you, sugar, salt, these kinds of things. And so if we can just get back to eating a more simple diet, right, and use whole ingredient foods, that can go a long way as it relates to these kind of low carb snacks. So some ideas that the author provided, which I thought, some better than others. We'll get into them. Number one, berries, right? Author says, berries are a great choice. A third cup of blueberries contains just 5 gram grams of carbs, and a third cup of strawberries delivers under 3 grams of carbs. But it also has nutrients, as you mentioned, Aaron, and fiber that can help you feel full longer. Avocado, another great thing. Now, I might have to take out a second mortgage to afford avocados these days with the way these things are going. But they're very nutritious food, right? And you can pair it, with different things or just eat it on its own. And a quarter of an avocado contains around 4 grams of carbs, but also a lot of healthy fats and fiber. This third one, not my thing, but hey, if you like it, I love it. Kale chips, right?
I kind
Kale
of like
chips.
them. I don't know. I'm sorry.
How do you feel about kale chips?
I'm all right with them. I'm not opposed to kale chips. But again, like you said, you got to take out sometimes a second mortgage to pay for all these kale chips. But yeah, not terrible. Not terrible. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's 1 gram of carbs, so definitely low carb. If you're gonna do chips, like I get it, do something like that, right? As opposed to some of the more, processed and manufactured options that are absolutely delicious. Oh man, don't get me started on the chips, man. Oh, like
I
you said, in
know,
all
man. I
forms
know.
and shapes and sizes, I love them. But yeah, we gotta do that in moderation. Another option here is, cucumber as a great snack. And then here's another one, plain popcorn. Um, I don't even know what that is because I've never had plain popcorn, but I do love me some popcorn. But try to do it in a way that's going to be as healthy as you can. Make that popcorn if you're going to add different flavorings and seasonings to them. And they have different options in the supermarket and the store. So just be mindful, of the
Yeah,
options that you pick. But popcorn can be a healthful snack depending on how you do it. So.
totally. As long as it's not like covered in caramel and sugar or chocolate, then it's probably gonna be better than
Yeah, and even with the butter, or some of these other flavors,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You could get avocado oil or olive oil. If you want
Hmm.
kind of nutty buttery kind of flavor. Even if you do the kind of butter flavor popcorn, maybe have a reduced fat kind. They have some
Yeah.
those kinds of things, right? But you're right. It can get really really fun with the popcorn flavors and kind of got to be mindful of that. My favorite popcorn. I don't want to get off too much of a tangent on popcorn because I can go down all day about popcorn. The Garrett's popcorn. Oh my
Oh
God. Every
man.
time. Every time I'm traveling, I go somewhere there's a Garrett's. I like save a little room in my diet for that as a nice indulgence because
But
it's
at
gonna
least you
blow my
plan for
whole.
it, you know? It's not
Huh?
like something you do it every day. You
Right,
plan
exactly,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, in moderation. I know if I do that, I'm gonna blow my whole calories for the day, but it's worth it every now and then. Um, and then last kind of point here that the author brought up was just, in terms of pairing these low carb snacks, think about pairing it with some high protein options, right? So high protein, low carb, right? That balance can help you feel fuller longer, and help you manage, those blood sugar levels and those energy levels throughout the day and hunger levels, right? So some options are like Greek yogurt, and maybe you pair that with some berries, as mentioned earlier, right? 1/2 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt provides, 15 grams of protein and 6 grams of carbs. A hard-boiled egg, another great option. 8 grams of protein, a half cup of hard-boiled egg, and some cheese, right? Cheese and nuts is a kind of a classic pairing, right? Some cheddar cheese or and then the almonds from the nut side of things, right? A quarter cup of sliced almonds provides 5 grams of protein paired with 5 grams of carbs. So think about how you can layer these things together, these snacks, in a way that are thoughtful, simple, whole ingredient kind of foods to help you if you need a snack, do it in a way that's going to be most advantageous and nutritional for your body and actually help you feel better, in the long run. Any kind of closing thoughts or ideas on this
Yeah,
one?
no, I think this one again just fits into the theme of what we've talked a lot about in terms of diet, where it's just making meaningful choices. We're not telling you to not eat or to restrict yourself in a way that's detrimental. It's just being conscious about what you're eating and what you're choosing. And so this article provides, some really good, quick, easy options for snacking, something that you can get anywhere, It's not like you've got to do a lot of prep work or do a lot of going out of your way to make it work. So it's like as simple as, taking the almonds or taking the cucumber slices or whatever and just putting it in some kind of container that you can take on the go. It can still work, So I think the biggest thing out for me is just being mindful, not saying that snacking is bad, but just making the right choices.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think that's a great way to end it.
All right, there we go. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us again. This is Aaron and Juwan, Wellness for Real People. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, everybody take care.
See ya.
Later.